My name is Brenda, and this is History Coles Notes. So let's get started. In 1751, the Pennsylvania Provincial Assembly, which was part of that state's colonial government, paid about £100 for a very big bell to be made. They planned to hang it in their brand new Pennsylvania statehouse, which would later be called Independence Hall. The bell was cast at London's Whitechapel bell foundry and then shipped to Philadelphia in August of 1752. It looked beautiful, but due to the metal they used was too brittle, it cracked during a practice strike test. This is why the foundry had to recast that bell twice. After playing with their formulation a bit, the final version was made of 70% copper, 25% tin, and small amounts of lead, arsenic, gold, silver, and zinc. It weighed about 2,080 pounds or 943 kilograms, and it was 12 feet in circumference. After this bell reached Pennsylvania, it was rung on July 8, 1776, as a way to celebrate the very first public reading of the United States Declaration of Independence. This bell became a symbol for the new nation of the United States and was later named the Liberty Bell when in the 1830s an abolitionist group adopted it as a symbol for their own cause. So how did this piece of history end up with a massive crack in it? Well, believe it or not, no one knows for sure. There is not a single accepted story on how that happened, but there's a lot of lore. One account alleges that the bell was fractured when Revolutionary War hero Marquis de Lafayette visited the city in 1824. Another tale tells us that it was cracked when it rang out a fire warning that same year. In this story, craftsmen decided to try to prevent further damage by boring out the hairline cracks in the bell to keep them from expanding, which resulted in the large crack today. In another popular story, the bell was cracked during the 1835 funeral of Chief Justice John Marshall, but the problem with this one is that newspaper reports about the funeral does not mention that the Liberty Bell was rung. Now, according to the official city reports during that time, the Liberty Bell was irreparably damaged in 1846 when Philadelphia Mayor John Swift ordered the bell to be rung to commemorate George Washington's birthday. In these reports, it states that the bell was repaired earlier that year when they noticed a tiny crack had started and it changed the sound of the bell, but after it was cracked again, it wasn't rang since. The Philadelphia Public Ledger documented the Liberty Bell's final days as an operational bell, giving the most validity to this story. In a story they printed on February 26, 1846, they said the following, and I quote, "The old Independence Bell rang its last clear note on Monday last in honor of the birthday of Washington, and now hangs in the great city steeple, irreparable, cracked, and dumb. It had been cracked before, but was set in order of that day by having the edges of the fractures filed, so not to vibrate against each other. It gave out clear notes and loud, and appeared to be in excellent condition until noon, when it received a sort of compound fracture in a zigzag direction through one of its sides, which put it completely out of tune and left it a mere wreck of what it was. Now, even though this bell was wrecked, it doesn't mean it doesn't have immense value to the American people. This bell is not just a bell. It is a symbol of unity and freedom for the United States, and it's a metaphor for a country that literally was cracked over freedom of its inhabitants. After the Civil War, Americans sought out a symbol of unity, and this bell became one of them. To help heal the wounds of the division that was caused by the Civil War, this bell traveled across the United States to help bring people together. So if you look at the bell under this lens, that crack matters more than if the bell could actually make a sound. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and be sure to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you guys can join us for more History Coles Notes. And be sure to check out all the other amazing content that we have on the Horrifying History channel, and follow us on social media. It's there where you'll be the very first to hear about what's coming up in the Horrifying History universe, and you can enter some really cool contests. You can find the links to our social media in this show's notes. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.